Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today with the topic on exploring the ice free frontier, physical and atmospheric research opportunities in Antarctica. For your information, WebSM will start the call for proposal 2025 on 1st November 2024 until 31st January 2025. This year, all applications will be made via an online platform and will be officially launched on 1st November. Therefore, at the end of October, we were having a briefing session on application guidelines, including announcement of the 2025 theme, and then we will go through the system and show you how to fill the forms and the documents required. In preparation of the call, WebSM, with the help of NRC, is organizing multiple webinar and online workshop from July until September and October, including this series of webinar on crafting a feasible polar research proposal. Without further ado, I would like to invite Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Azizan Abu Samah from University of Malaya. He is the former director of National Antarctic Research Centre and was the Vice President of SCAR, Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research from 2014 to 2018. In 2022, YPSM has awarded Emeritus Professor Dr. Azizan with the Medal for Excellence in Antarctic Research. So I invite Prof. Azizan to share his slide.
Thank you, Intan, and thank you for all who are attending this webinar. I'm talking about exploring the icy frontiers, physical and atmospheric research opportunities in Antarctica. Basically, my talk will cover just a bit of introduction to the Malaysian Antarctic program, but later on I will then go delve into the more technical aspect of how do you prepare to write the proposal, what are the things that I think you need to do, especially in terms of literature review. Because one of the things that you can see, even if you go to Google Scholar, you will be, the catchword is standing on the shoulder of the giants, which means that you have to know what others have done, and then so that you can then add on your own what you call input, and then make it into even a better research objective and research topics. So that's why in Google Scholar it's called standing on the shoulders of giants, which means that you are not trying to reinvent the wheel, but in fact you are trying to you know what others are doing, and then how do you add on to what they are doing. Okay, as I said earlier, Malaysia, we are not what you call a novice, but the first time that we went into Antarctic is more from diplomacy, which is in 1982, where we had the question of Antarctica in the United Nations, and it's in 1997 is the one that when we start our initial scientific research in the Antarctic. So from 1990, we started our first expedition in 1999, 2000. So this is nearly 24 years of research that Malaysia has undertaken in the Antarctic. So we are not. In Antarctica, is a region 60 degrees south to 90 degrees south, and is governed by the Antarctic Treaty System, which is not under the UN. And so this is completely quite unique. And Malaysia, we finally acceded to the Antarctic Treaty in 2012. Yeah. And so we are still drafting the Antarctic bill. Seems to take a long time. We already ratified the Madrid Protocol in 2016. So, in a way, we are nearly a full member of the ATCM, but not a consultative member. So there's an involvement in diplomacy and governance. So, as I said, we started our program in 1999. And ARC was established in 2002. And then after that, we were worried about sustaining our Malaysian Antarctic program. We established the Sultan Mizan Antarctic Research Foundation in 2012. And, so YPSM now basically is given the task to sustain and also to guide Malaysian Antarctic research with funding, and also NARC is also now put under YPSM. So you need to have both the university and the administration of YPS of the program to have it more in a more sustainable footing. And YPSM is under NRES, the Ministry of Natural Resource and Environment, under Nick Nazmi. So we have 5 main, what you call, research area. We have in geological science, environmental science, atmospheric sciences, and of course the big chunk of our research, about 60% of our researchers are from the biological science. But even in terms of the biological science, we tend to go into microbes. And the reason is we are among the few countries that is able to sustain an Antarctic research program without logistic and without base. So this is the constraint that we are operating in since 1999. And the main reason why we are able to input into the Antarctic community, into the science of the Antarctic community, is because we concentrate on areas in which basically we are not what you call not logistic heavy, and don't really require a long-term base for us to be long-term, 10 years in the base or something like that. We don't have that choice. So that's the reason why our priority research is, this area. Okay. And one of the things that you find is that, we survive because we have lots and lots of international collaboration. So if you want to do research and want to put a proposal to research in the Antarctic, these are some of the organizations that you may consider looking in and establishing what you call cooperation with this what you call organization. So we have Ecuador in Latin America. We have cooperation with Ecuador. We have cooperation with Chile. We have cooperation with Brazil. That's not included. We have cooperation with Argentina, and later on we also have cooperation with Peru. Okay, so Peru, Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Argentina. There's about 5 countries that we have cooperation with. And then in Africa, we have some cooperation with SANAP. And in what you call in Europe, we have the Polish Antarctic, we have the British Antarctic, we have the German, we also have actually in America, we also have cooperation with American. And then in Asia, we have cooperation with India under AFOC. We have cooperation with Korea. We have cooperation with Japan and IPR, and we have cooperation actually with China, PRIC. And with Australasia, we have cooperation with the Australian Antarctic Division, and also we have Antarctic New Zealand. So, you know, we cover basically on the globe. So one thing that if you do contact with these people, we already have some institutional memory of working with them. So, you know, when you write and say, look, you know, I want to work with this particular person in BAS, or this particular person in AAG, and it goes to the director of AAG, you know, and they say, oh yeah, we've been working with Malaysia for quite a while. So, you know, that is the what you call the goodwill that we have already built over the years. So these are the university and the institute that we work in. I think you can, Intan can share this with you. And what happened is that in terms of expedition physically to the Antarctic, as you can see, we have maybe 2 or 3 per year. That's the what you call in terms of being physically in the Antarctic. But you know, we can increase it because as I said, we have already going to sign new MOU with the Latin American, and of course Latin America, they got many bases there. So, and also with Korean and the Chinese. So we can see that, you know, we can work for access to bases if you do need to be physically present, you know, for a few months or for a few weeks in the Antarctic. Okay, these are the countries. So you can see we have good cooperation with UK. We have good cooperation with Australia. But actually, this is 2022. So we have good cooperation with Chile. And these are the areas of research that we have cooperation with. Where we are, if you see MYR, which is Malaysia, we are not consultative. The red one is consultative, and so the number of papers, we can see that we are just above Ukraine, above Bulgaria, above Uruguay, above Ecuador, above Peru in terms of the consultative member. We are just around where you see the MYS, you know. This is the study done. We had about 100 papers already, but I think this is done in 2017. I think now we have even more papers in the Antarctic. And in terms of citation, I think our citation is MYS, MYR is about 5 or 6 per year, but I think that also has gone up. So this is a 2017 picture. We have improved our position quite a lot actually in terms of our footprint into in the international community. So basically, Cabinet gave the Antarctic community two choice. I mean, two big area. One is biodiversity, and the other one is global warming and climate change. So that is what Cabinet asked us to work in. And as you can see, all our research, this is the one done since 2018, all cover and try to address these two areas, biodiversity and climate change. And so in the third phase, where we are now, we would like to have more Malaysian in SCORE. We also like to, of course, increase our footprint, uh, especially taking leadership on some, and we should have taken leadership because I think TATE is now Tropical Antarctic Teleconnection is basically spearheaded by a Malaysian. Okay, so this is our area of research. Tate is going to be an expert, has already evolved so that he will be an expert group in SCORE. So we have already, and this is a Malaysian-led group. So teleconnection is something that we are very keen on because it's tropical Antarctic teleconnection, and this I think is quite direct in the sense we are trying to see how the warming in the Arctic and the warming in the Antarctic impact on our weather and climate. I think there are 2 or 3 research that we have given to Malaysian researcher to look into this. So this is our baby in the sense, linking the poles to the tropics. And I mean, this is looking at long-range linkages between high and low latitude, understanding the mechanism of teleconnection studies that can enhance the predictability of monsoon system and distress. And of course, this also quite related to ENSO, El Nino, which has an important climate impact all over the globe, from the Arctic to the Antarctic. So this is some of the work that we've done. I think, as I said, we were standing on another giant, which is Caroline, 1989, Bromwich. Yeah, so we are not, even though we say we are leading, that doesn't mean that, we don't look at what others are working on. Right? You have to do that if you want to come up with a good proposal. Okay, so as I said, standing on top of giant, there are lots and lots of other people who've done the work. So you have to go and do your literature review. Okay, and this is our own that we have done. It is done by Sharifah Sharia Atika and got published in, we got 2 papers out, one in Polar Sciences, the other in Climate Dynamics. All right, and we are basically looking at the Indian monsoon. Okay, now in order for us to, let's say, stimulate researcher, we do a 2-yearly program. We just 2021 we had MISA 9, and I think just recently we had MISA 10, where we did in UKM. So I hope in MISA 10, I think there are some abstract of those who has. So I hope YPSM can give abstracts of the work done or the work presented in MISA 10, so that those who want to enter can at least know what are the rest of the community in Malaysia undertaking. Okay, so please go and look at the abstract, right? Okay, so we have been quite consistent in doing research linking the poles to the tropic. Right? Most of the work done by other people in the community is linking how the tropic impact on the poles. That is also another area. But as I said, the one of the niche area that we are now exploring and developing as an expert group is the signal from the other way, from the poles to the tropics. And there are a number of research that we are undertaking to look into, how does polar signal or how does polar changes impact on the tropics. And one of the things that I would like to point out is the fact that our own region, the maritime continent, is also an important area because we basically sit between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, where you have both the east-west circulation and also the north-south circulation, the Hadley and the Walker, and then you have the Indian Dipole. And that makes us an important, what you call, component in the global change. If there are changes, let's say in terms of some of the work done in Taiwan and America by the US, if you have deforestation in the maritime continent, it will then impact on the ENSO in the Pacific, and it also have an impact on the IOD in the Indian Ocean side. That impact will then have an impact on the Antarctic or the Arctic, and then you have another feedback if the changes in the Arctic or the Antarctic will then have an impact on back to the tropics. So there is a lot of scale interaction between our region and the Arctic and the Antarctic, because our region is also a hotspot. I mean, people talk about the Tibetan Plateau being another hotspot in the tropics. The maritime continent is also another important, what you call, integrator, because a lot of the changes, we are in the area where the changes are occurring. So quite a lot of people who are talking about what you call geoengineering, when you cannot stop the mitigation, quite a lot of the community is now thinking, how do you mitigate the problem that we are facing? Because with fossil fuel, it seems that we are not really successful in trying to cut down on our carbon dioxide. People are now talking, what sort of geoengineering can we do to mitigate? And this is and where are the hotspots that you can do your geoengineering? So the hotspot is where the most sensitive area. So one of the hotspots is our area. In terms of climate change, in terms of sea level rise, they don't think that they can do anything to stop the sea level rise that is already locked in because of the melting of the ice shelf in the Antarctic and also in the Arctic. So they may be thinking about what sort of geoengineering we can do to slow down the process. So this is something that the community, in fact, in SCAR meeting just recently in Chile, one of the new area that they have put forward is the issue of geoengineering, which means, what sort of geoengineering research can you do to cut down on, let's say, ice shelf melting, or to make sure that ice shelf will be intact. Because for them, if the ice shelf melt by 2100, 21st century, you may have maximum 1.5 meter of sea level rise, which I don't think is acceptable to quite a lot of coastal community. The other one that I think is more related to biology is, of course, they do quite a lot of genetic transcriptonic. They do all this shotgun metagenomic. I don't know, all this genomics that people in the biology knows better. So I won't go more into that. So now, what I would like to introduce to you is how do you go about looking. You can use Google Scholar, you can use ResearchGate, or you can use lens.org. Okay. Lens.org is not bad in the sense that when you do that, they also a package called Analytic in lens.org. It will tell you which university is working on which area, UTM is working in what area. So this is what I did. I looked for Antarctic and Malaysia and look for scholarly work. Don't look for pattern. Well, if you're interested to look for pattern, you can also look for pattern. There are some of our work in Antarctic that has been patented. I think especially in terms of diesel degradation. Yeah, that's by Aklima. Okay, so you can go on there, and as you can see, I did this in 2022. We have what 907 scholarly work, and then work with pattern about 14. So Malaysia, as I said, we are better than quite a lot of the Latin American consultative party. Just between Austria, and we are just about the same level as Austria. So we are not quite a respected polar research what you call entity. Yeah? People don't ask, oh, why is Malaysia going to do research in Antarctic? Nowadays, they don't ask us that sort of question anymore. When we started, they did. Okay, so you can see how we have improved over time, yeah, in terms of our yearly publication. And so these are the area in which we publish. We have published in climate change, oceanography, geology. We have environmental science. So I just concentrate on atmospheric science and physical science. So these are the area in which we have published. Atmospheric science, we have published about 46 papers. These are overlapping, okay? Climate change, we have about 50 papers. Geology, we have 91. So quite a fair amount. But as you can see, quite a lot of it is in ecology, which is more on the biology people. They're about 2 or 3 times bigger than us. And in terms of community also, you find that quite a lot of biologists are working in Antarctic research in the different universities that join the SMART partnership of YPSM. And so you can see in terms of the Malaysian, you can see all the research university in, and you can see all this the analytic given on in terms of ecology, geology, physical science. What I'm trying to also ask you, when you do lens.org, you can also look at who's publishing in what. Okay, so these are the active people who publish, and you can see quite a number of Malaysian publishing in the different area. Biology especially has a lot. Siti Aklima is the one that at the moment is leading in terms of biological work. In terms of atmospheric, physical, I'm leading. And then Wayan Suparta is no longer with us, but he's doing quite a lot of upper atmospheric work using GPS. Mardiana is there. So you can see there are quite a number of Malaysian, yeah, working in the area. And this is what the lens.org give you. You can really refine your research and then go and to look at lens.org, and lens.org will then give you where they are publishing polar sciences, atmospheric, earth sciences, climate change of the past, atmospheric measurement. You can see that we have publication in all this journal. Remote sensing, we have quite a lot of work in remote sensing. But as you can see, in terms of polar microbiology and all that sort of thing, of course, they overtake the physical sciences. Okay. So my suggestion for those who want to put in, first go to land.org. Do a refined research. You look at what Malaysian working on. You can also look at what are the recent research that the community in Antarctic or the community in the Arctic, I mean the researcher in the Arctic. So that means that you go to land.org, you say atmospheric science, oceanography, and let's say polar, and then but in this one you don't go, you just look for 2020 onward. That means about 2 or 4 years of research, because that will give you the latest interest of the community. I'm talking about the global community. I'm not talking about the what you call the Malaysian community, because one of the issue about us in the YPSM, you must look for partners in the what you call uh, in either in SCORE community or in Antarctic Australian Antarctic Division, or in Chile, or in but in order for you to look into the research, then you go to lands.org. Let's say you are interested in 2020 atmospheric Chile. Then you look at the different authors. Some of them you may know, for all you know. Let's say I know quite well members of TATE now. They have been working on TATE in Brazil, in Chile. And so you contact them and then say, look, I'm trying to put in a research proposal for this. And are you interested to join in if I am successful in my application? So then, you can work the area of research with this particular group. And, one of the things about successful research proposal is that first, we can see that it's viable. It can be done. You must convince the people who want to assess you that what you want to do is a viable thing, considering the constraint that I mentioned earlier, which means that, we have to get access. If you want to go and put your equipment there, you must have some access to the lab in Antarctic itself, which means that you can work either with COPRI, you can work with Chile, you can work with NIPR or China, in which basically the colleague that you're working with in those institutes is saying, yeah, you can come and put your equipment here. We can share the result. Okay. So you need to do a bit of homework in trying to see whether you can put your equipment or put your measurement if you want to do observation in the Antarctic itself. Okay. So you must show that you have that sort of MOU, or that sort of, no need MOU, you have this understanding with this guy who has access to some lab in the Antarctic, that you can put your equipment with him, you can do some cooperation with him. Because as I said, one of the reasons why we are able to maintain our research program without logistic and without a base is the fact that we are working with scientists who have access to the logistic and to the base, so that we can put our equipment, and also we can send ourselves, or we can send our research student to do for 2 or 3 weeks, for a month, so that you can do the measurement in, let's say, COPRI station in the Antarctic or UK station. And this is where the MOA that YPSM undertake helps you in opening up access to the bases and to the logistic that go to the bases. Okay, so these are the area that we have, and this is SCORE. SCORE have geosciences, life sciences, physical sciences. So for you, you want to look at the SCORE physical sciences and SCORE geosciences, and you can also look at the SCORE scientific research program. So visiting SCORE is also another important web page, because the Scientific Committee of Antarctic Research has a lot of information and has a lot of what you call the current scientific endeavor that the international community is undertaking. So if you have a better chance if you fit your research to the current research that is being organized by SCORE, because SCORE advise all the national program what sort of area that we think is important, that have an important bearing to either conservation of the Antarctic or understanding the climate of the Antarctic and vice versa. The other aspect is that SCORE will also tell you the database. The environmental portal in SCORE will have all the database that you may need to access apart from the public domain database. So this is the one in India. The latest one is 2024. Now, when planning for a proposal, you have to, what a nice bit about working in Antarctic is that sometimes what is required is for you to get access to data. Either the data is public domain, like Aero5, CIMIC 6, Reader dataset, or either it is satellite, in which you can go on satellite imageries. So if you are working, let's say, on the Dry Valley as an example. So basically what you need is just maybe spend 1 or 2 weeks in the Dry Valley, but the rest of your other research, you are working on satellite. And of course with satellite, you don't need to be there. You just want some ground truthing in your satellite image. Once you have the ground truth, you then go and basically work on the satellite itself. And then that's where your skill in analysis in Python or in EOF analysis or in spatial correlation comes in, and then you can add in your physical understanding of what's happening for you to explain the physical processes that's involved, modeling or something like that. So what I'm trying to say is that quite a big amount and quite an important Antarctic and Arctic research, and also how does the Arctic and Antarctic impact on the tropics, is done by using public domain data set or global data set. Things like Aero5, CIMIP, things like Argo work for the Southern Ocean. So quite a lot of work you can do without already going to the Antarctic. In terms of microbial sample, we have lots and lots of microbial sample already in or in which from in other university, USM, that soil bacteria and that sort of thing that you can really ask around the microbiologists that have gone there and then brought back the sample. I think we have more than a few hundred kilograms of sample that you can work on without you going to the Antarctic or the Arctic. And this is something that the biologists also can think about. So in terms of my area of research, or our area of research that I'm talking about, some of the research you don't even need fieldwork because you either use models or you use ERA dataset. This is the reanalysis dataset, or you use, if you're interested in climate change, then you can do the global CMIP, where you can downscale it if you have a WRF program in your computer. Okay. But if you do need fieldwork, you need to look into your potential collaborators. So you need to know who in the national program that I mentioned, in all that arrow that you saw, you need to contact. And I guess in our area, we can help if you are interested, who we think that can work in the area. So please either contact me or any of the people working in atmospheric science. And also in SCORE itself, that we can see whether we can link you. FOP is another area for the Asian, because we are quite active in the Asian Forum on Polar Sciences, where we are trying to develop especially early career scientists and whatnot. And then you can basically look around who you can collaborate with, which station you can put your equipment, so that we can then work and help. But all this has to be done. If you want to go and do fieldwork, you have to do the groundwork before you put in your research proposal, because you have to show some sort of proof that you have the collaboration needed for you to put your equipment in anywhere in the Antarctic or in the Arctic. And of course, you have all this support since you're going for YPSM support, but you also have COPRI, you have an IPR, and of course, we also encourage you to go for SCAR fellowship program. Okay, I think that end my talk. And the other bit that I would like to think about, which I think when you come to YPSM call, please read the YPSM call for this year and try to fit your research to the call. I mean, if you don't think that your research fits to the call, then you don't. I mean, the chances of you getting is less. So try and fit to what the call is asking. Because as any advice to any researcher, when you want to apply for a research and that research has a call, please take the trouble to read the call and see how do you tailor your research proposal to meet the call. So the call, I think, will be out by 1st of November. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're given a few months to prepare for your submission. And I think that one, you ask Intan to brief you. Now, I think I have about 15 minutes to take in questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I stop my share.
Thank you very much, Emeritus Professor Dr. Azizan. We welcome any questions from the participants. You can just go unmute and ask directly to Prof. Any questions?
Intan, you have got anything to add?
No, just a reminder, maybe if you haven't registered, you can please register by the links in the chat box so that we can have a copy of your contact. so that we can send you more information about future events, including the announcement later. Well, I think some of the names haven't registered yet, right? Especially if you're very new, we don't have any of your contact information. Please do so. Thank you. Any questions?
No, no question. Either I'm being very good, or they know what to do. Okay, I give you a bit more, but 10 more minutes. As one of the things that I would like to advise for those who are writing proposal is like in any research proposal, you must show that you have done a fair amount of literature review lah. And when I say literature review, it's not only literature review of work being done in Malaysia, but also literature review of what the community, because Antarctic research is or Arctic research. We work on, especially in climate change. There's a lot of very interesting new things that's coming out, and I think teleconnection, of course, is one of them. But the other one is Antarctic ice shelf stability, mass balance of the Antarctic, all sort of things, and that's where it's important that if you have podcasts, or you have what is happening in SCORE 2024, that you are able to basically participate. And also, if not participate, you look into what the community is working on. The community is quite good and very helpful, and I think you can also look into the work by BAS do quite a lot of work, British Antarctic Survey. Quite a lot of work is also done by China. China is very productive in terms of Antarctic work. So it'd be good for you to at least know what they're doing. As I said, one thing about scientific research, you are standing on the shoulders of giants. Why they make that statement? That when you are standing on the shoulder of giant, then you can see, you can see what they are doing. So if you just sit behind the giant, then you just see the backside of the giant, and that means you're not really able to see, your research proposal is not really what you call have that vision, or that you're not really able to use the experience of others. Because one of the issue about scientific research, and I always tell that even in other form of scientific research, nobody, don't come and tell me this is the first what you call research in this particular area. Can tell you, you're not the first. You seldom are the first. There'll be others who have done it before you. That's why it says standing on the shoulders of giants. Now, what you're looking for is one area in which you think you can contribute. Your research can contribute. And then after that, you got to ask the question, does my research need to be in the Antarctic? Even though I'm doing Antarctic research, does my research need to be in the Antarctic? If your answer is yes, you want to put an equipment in the Antarctic, then you have to think, who can I contact? Which base can I put it in? And this is where the networking is important. And this is where this networking has already been established for you. Then you need to contact the Malaysian counterpart that you know has been working with this counterpart in Kopri or this counterpart in Chile or something like that, so that you can ask them, hey, you know, who can I work with in this particular area that I want to work with? And normally, our community is quite nice. We'll tell you, okay, I think these are the person that you may work with. I mean, the other one, of course, you include that person into your research project. That's one way of you getting into his network. Because one of the things that you have to realize is all this goodwill that we have with other researchers is built by the person. It's not YPSM. You know, don't expect YPSM say, okay, YPSM tell you can work with this A, because YPSM doesn't know who A is. The one who know A is that particular researcher. So that's why I ask you all to look around for not only the international community, but first to look around at the Malaysian community, those who are already working on Antarctic, because you need to tap into their network as well as when you want to have the international research. Why you want to have the international community and be relevant to the international community is that the guy who wants to work with you must also be interested in the research that you are proposing. If your proposal to them is nothing, they don't want to work with you because time for scientists is expensive, you know, because you know you want to come up with something, and so for them to invest in your research proposal, they must also think that what can I gain from this particular research proposal. When you have that two meeting, that both can see some advantages, then that project can grow. Okay, so one thing about scientific research in Antarctic and in the Arctic is always international in nature. So you know that's how the difference between researching in the Antarctic and the Arctic, because in the Arctic and Antarctic, the moment you go into the research, it's always an international based research. So you need to look outside, not only in the Malaysian context, but also the rest of the community. Okay? So any, yeah.
Someone.
Yes, Tang.
Hi, I'm Tang. Thanks for sharing the important knowledge to us. Just now, Prof mentioned about a list of the researchers that have already collected samples from Antarctic. Because I'm with microbiology background and also biochemistry background, so I can work with the sample that they have already collected. Right. So I wonder where can I find those lists of researchers that have already collected the samples?
Well, for UM, it's very simple. You go to NARC, you contact Prof. Siti Aisyah, you will get all the what are the samples that they have collected. I think the other one, Annie Tan, also has collected quite a lot already. So you know, the sample belong to NARC. So it's not the personal sample of the researcher, because we funded them. So I think they are obligated to share if they are no longer using the sample.
What if they are still need to use the sample? Are they obligated to share also?
Well, I think if you can, I mean, if they are quite possessive, you can then do a join with them. That's no problem.
Okay. So it's Prof. Siti Aisyah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Prof.
I mean, any Tan also do quite a lot of samples.
Yeah, I know.
We even have GUT. We have even have gut sample when kids. I'm sure there's some sample being put in the fridge somewhere. All frozen sample. Quite a lot in NARC, yeah.
That will be quite some time ago, right? I know Prof. Annie also has some samples, but quite a long years, a long time ago.
Yeah, so if you want to go and get new sample also, you can. I mean, you can ask people from UMT or you can ask Aklima. There are quite a lot.
Yeah, even IMU they have few samples as well.
So, I think YPSM kids are also this, but
yeah.
I think this one ask Siti Aisyah lah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof.
Okay. Any more other questions? From the physical people. Physical tend to have, what, every year, how many do we have, Ethan? Physical?
Less than 10.
Less than 10, yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to input more, especially the remote sensing people. After Mazlan, I don't see that many remote sensing people coming in. Or you Hong Tak. Okay.
If there's no more question, we end our webinar today. The recording of this session will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. The link is in the chat box, or you can just search in YouTube. You can also refer to the previous session. We have uploaded to our YouTube as well for your reference.
Well, we have some. I think I put in my slide. You record the slide also, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my email address there to contact me if you have some other inquiry.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Encik Syukur nak have something.
Cik Syukur is in rest now. The COP29 forum.
Okay, bye.